What's up, everybody? We're back. It's your boy Stoise. It's your Ford trip. And I know. We were only off for 1 week thanks to these from riders, but it felt like about 35 years.
It's been 84 years.
Hey, writers, hey, from riders, let me holler at y'all. Don't do that again. We can't afford to be taking weeks off, man, especially after what y'all gave us in episode 5. But we here now. So we got season 4, episode 6. The heart is a lonely hunter. And I'm gonna be real with you, man. This whole episode felt like one big setup, but it gave us a lot that we can chew on and dive into to move forward. So let's get straight into it. So first off, Boyd is absolutely like he's he's all over the place now. He's losing it, man. Like this episode starts immediately after episode 5 when Jay was talking to Boyd and he told him, I know how to get us out of here. And Boyd is dealing with everything from them, from this episode. I'm talking about Jay's discovery, Donna's problem, Victor's mental health, the town itself. Everything is weighing down on Boyd right now. And Harold Perrineau, he is doing such an amazing job, like portraying all of that right now. We get so much from him in this episode. He's been giving us a lot all season, but this episode, we get so much from him. Like Jade's discovery on how he believes to get out of this town is just another added layer on top of what Boyd is already dealing with. And the cracks are starting to show. Like in one of the scenes, we have a scene with Jay telling Boyd, hey, we have to get those bones. And Boyd is kind of giving him pushback. And part of me, I understand Jay's point of view in this. It's like, hey, you told me to do these shrooms to figure out what I was forgetting. Now I do them and I bring this to you, and now all of a sudden it's an issue. I understand Jay's point of view. And they go down to the basement and there's no door there. So Boyd doesn't even know if he can believe what Jade is telling him. They go to the basement and he tells them this is where the door is at. There's no door there. So Boyd is he's rightfully so questioning things and freaking out. Jade tells him, hey, we need to go to those tunnels and we need to do something with those bones. He doesn't really tell us or have an idea of what to do with those bones, but he says we have to get these bones. And honestly, Jay saying that made me think about Supernatural. If you ever watch Supernatural, you will know one of the main things of that show when there was trapped ghosts or souls, whatever it may be, was to dig the bones up and burn those bones. I think they might have salted those bones sometimes that'll help out, but one of the main things was to burn those bones. So I'm thinking, are they going to try to tie that into this episode also? Is the key is the answer to dig up those bones and burn those bones? I don't know, but Jay doesn't really have an idea of how to go about it. But he's saying we need to do something about getting those bones from those tunnels. And Boyd is telling him, hey, man, listen, that's risky. We put everybody in town at risk, especially the colony house. Because if I'm thinking that Jay to say, hey, let's go through this door, that means that door is open. That means those monsters, the same way you walk down in that tunnel through that door, those monsters can walk up through that tunnel through that door. And at that point, it doesn't even matter if it's daytime or not. Like, they don't have to go outside technically. And I have a theory of me and a few friends of mine, we have this theory that they don't even need to really stay in the tunnels at night. I mean, in the daytime. We think they're just playing games with these people. So if you open that door, is the whole colony house at risk? We gonna find out. I'm pretty sure they're gonna come back to that at some point. But Boyd is telling them, hey, we risk everybody's safety trying to get down to those tunnels. And Jade is telling him, hey, We just have to do that. So be it. Some people might die. And this scene here, when Jay says that, Boyd absolutely loses it. Boyd hems Jade up like, "What'd you say to me?" Because Jay told him, "Hey, how many people have you lost while trying to keep this place safe?" And Boyd was not trying to hear any of that. And I'm going to be honest, episode 5, remember, little Jade said the town turned on him when they found out. Is this kind of starting to show the town turning on him? Like, if Boyd starts turning on him, everybody else is easily persuaded. So if Boyd turns on him, which I don't think is going to happen, I don't think it's going to happen. But remember, that was a thing. Little Jay said his past selves got killed by the town when they found out who he was. So I'm starting to kind of see that correlate a little bit here. But I mean, listen, rightfully so, Jade is like, we have to do this. We can't just sit here and stay in this town this whole time. We can't just bide our time counting on our fingers the days that we were safe. Like, we need to figure something out. And even then, Boyd talks to Kenny. He tells Kenny about everything that's been going on. And Kenny says, "I miss the good days when we counted the nights that everybody was safe." And Boyd says, "If that was the good days, I wish I would have known then." So really, like, we have a lot going on right now, just starting off with Boyd and Jay. And we're going to get back to that down the line, but Boyd is really, those cracks are really starting to show. The pressure is really starting to weigh down on Boyd a lot. And while he's out there talking to Kenny, he's interrupted by somebody saying, "Hey, Victor's on the roof." And speaking of Victor, man, let's talk about Victor, man. Victor ends up on this roof looking like he's ready to, you know. And this was Victor's scene through this whole episode was heartbreaking because you can really see he's blaming himself for a lot of this that's going on in the town right now. Even if it's not right. We know this town is doing what this town is doing, man. And it has nothing to do with Victor, at least from what we understand at this point. But he's blaming himself for so much that's going on in the town right now. He talks about how there was a man who was so afraid of the town when he was a kid. There was this man in town with him that climbed up to the roof of the colony house and jumped because he was so afraid of the town. And he says that after the man jumped, it took him a few days to die, which that might not mean anything. It might just been a line, but for some reason that stands out to me heavy. Like, why did it take him so long? Like, what was going on there? So maybe that might play a factor later on, but to me that did stand out. It could have been just a throwaway line. I don't know, but it did stand out to me when he said it took the person a few days before he died. But this whole scene with Victor on the roof, it's heartbreaking. It's Victor admitting, like, "Hey, I feel responsible. I've just been trying to help. And the more I'm trying to help, the more I'm doing, things are getting worse." Like, we have a scene, we go to the scene with him and Ethan, and Ethan's telling him about what happened and about these monsters that came out. And Ethan says, "My mom killed them." And Victor's like, "Moms are strong. My mom will smile even whenever anything's going on." And he says he doesn't think his dad is strong enough. It's basically, he thinks that he shouldn't have told his dad what happened because his might spiral. And we see later on in this episode that that indeed does happen. Henry does end up spiraling, and we'll get to that in just a second. Well, Victor throughout this whole episode was one of those things where it's like, okay, I understand, Victor. Like, you feel like all of this is happening because you're trying to help, but all of this was going to happen anyway. It happened when you was a kid. It was going to happen again. And who knows what happened really with him, what he was really doing when he was a kid. We still don't know a lot about that. I wish we had a little bit more about what Victor was like as a kid in this town. We don't have a lot. I'm sure we're going to get more down the line. But everything with Victor on the roof, Victor talking to Ethan, worried about his dad being strong enough. Victor is really like leaning to that. I shouldn't have said anything. I should have kept my mouth shut. And even with that going on, Victor is still finding a way to be helpful somehow. Him and Kenny and Boyd, after Boyd eventually talks him off the roof, they go to the room and he tells Boyd a little bit more, not a lot more, but he tells Boyd, yeah, he came to town like everybody else, like a regular person. He came to town in this brown vehicle, this brown car. And Boyd, being the detective of the town, he's like, hey, where is this brown car? Did you drive it out to the woods? And Victor tells him, yes, I didn't want to see it anymore. So he drove it out to the woods so he didn't have to see that brown car. So I think in the next episode, because they were trying to go this episode before things picked up a little bit. But I think next episode we see Boyd, Kenny, and Victor go out to the woods and find that brown car. And I don't know what it might show us in that car to help them out, but maybe something's going to be in that car that triggers something, triggers somebody. We gonna see. But this whole episode with Victor, the fact that now he's actively trying to track the man in yellow's scent, well, at least Boyd and Kenny and everybody is talking to him to help track like more information about this man in yellow and find some type of answers about who this man is and if it's something we need to be worried about. The answer is yes, boy. You need to be very worried about this man. But so I'm liking the trajectory of where we're going with this. But Victor really, Victor and Boyd, this episode, they really started. They gave us some emotional beats that really is heavy. So I'm excited about these last, I believe, 4 episodes to come. And speaking of answers, we have to talk about Jade. So that whole shroom trip that Jade went down last episode, not random at all. And we knew it wouldn't be random. But I think everything he saw in that shroom trip meant something. And it's going to play a big factor in the rest of this season and next season, probably going forward. I think everything he saw, we're going to have to use that information to help these people. The mysterious door. Remember, when Jay took Boyd down there the first time, there was nothing there. The debris was there, all the clutter was there. When they took it down, the door wasn't there. But eventually, in later on in the episode, when Boyd breaks and he's tearing the wall down, he takes the sledgehammer to the wall. Jade hears him. The whole Codney house hears him. Jade goes down there, and Boyd's yelling, screaming, "If you want me to go to the tunnels, show me this door." He's not talking to anybody particular. If you want me to go to this tunnel, show me the door. And he does see the door. So that door is there. So that tells Boyd, hey, that trip wasn't just random. These things mean something. So with the door being there, those tunnels being there, everything we saw is going to play a factor. So I'm excited. Well, not excited, but I'm ready to see what happens. When does the town try to turn on Boyd? When does the town try to turn on Jay? And when the town does try to turn on him, who's going to come and be the voice of reason? Like, hey, no, we need him. And when they get this plan together and they go down there in those tunnels and find those bones, what happens then? What do they do with the bones? Like I said earlier, Jay doesn't really have an idea of what he's going to do with those bones. But something has to be done. You can't just find the bones and whoop you out. So what does that mean? I'm so excited about what Jade saw. And I love that final reveal at the end with Boyd finding the door and turning to Jade and saying, we need a plan. This is all starting to confirm and show us like, hey, there might actually be a way out of here. Now, it's yet to be revealed if the past Jades had the same vision before. It's yet to be revealed if when the past Jades saw these same things, did they still try then? Like, why was that door recovered? Somebody had to cover that door up. Who did that? Like, who did that? Was this past Jade? Was this past townspeople? Somebody covered that door with those stones. So I need to know, what is this the first time they've gotten this far? I don't think this could be the first time they've gotten this far. But we we're on track. Let's hope this ball keeps rolling. They're showing us something right now here with Jay. And speaking of figuring things out with Jay, we have to figure things out with Sophia. What is going on with the girl in yellow? What is her plan? We have her and Henry all episode, and I don't like it. I don't like it from jump. We have Henry in the post office staring at that yellow suit. And then here comes Sophia walking in and really disturbing his peace. Asking, is he okay? He's saying, sure, it's been a hell of a day. He leaves. He gets out of there, goes to the gas station slash bar, and here comes Sophia following him into the gas station. And when I tell you, I felt uneasy all episode about this part. Every scene they were in together, I felt uneasy because it just feels like Sophia really loves toying with these people. Henry's in there, he's drinking or about to drink. Sophia walks in and asks, can she join him? She asks him, hey, who makes this alcohol? Which is a very good question. Because yes, Henry says there used to be a bartender here, but he died. RP to the bartender. If you know, you know. But how much liquor did he make before he died? Like, he's the only person we see making liquor in this whole town. And Henry has plenty of it. Clearly, Donna has plenty of it. We'll get to Donna in just a second. Don't think I forgot about Donna. You know I gotta talk about Donna. But we'll get to that in just a second. But how much did he make before he died? But yeah, so we have Sophia in the bar talking with him. Henry pours a drink. He says, let's drink together. And he starts to pour her a drink before he stops and asks her, how old are you? And yeah, she says, old enough to bury my father, old enough to experience grief. And Henry says, touche, and pours her a drink still. Henry knows. She's still not 21, Henry. But I guess in Fromville, though, these laws don't matter. I guess shit. If you in this town, you should get a drink. I guess. Next thing you know, we're gonna see Ethan drink. I'm just playing. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. So they're drinking, and throughout this whole scenes of them drinking together, you see the girl in yellow just every time she speaks and asks him about things, it feels like she's just playing a game with him. They get slaughtered. They get drunk. Well, Henry at least. I don't really know. I don't think the girl in yellow can get drunk. I don't think Sophia was really getting drunk. She was just playing her role. But they get absolutely slaughtered. Toe up from the flow up. And Sophia suggests to him about getting some more to drink. All this is while they're talking about what's going on in this town. Sophia, eventually, they're on their second bottle, and Sophia's talking to Henry, and she says, "Hey, why were you staring at that yellow suit?" Again, she likes playing these games with these people. I hate her. She, we need to get the girl in yellow out of here ASAP. But she asked Henry, why were you staring at that yellow suit earlier? And Henry tells her, the man who wore that suit did horrible things to my family. And she uses that to tell, do you have family here? And Henry says, my son who's been here for 40 years. No, Henry, please, no, 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 no. I don't like it. I don't like it. Because now that made me think that the girl in yellow didn't know about Victor. We think that she knows everything that's going on in this town. I'm not quite sure that she does. Remember when the crows came out? a few episodes ago, I didn't think that she knew what was going on with those crows. And now I don't think she knew that Victor was in town. I don't think she knew that Victor had been in that town for 40 years and was there from before that first massacre. Well, that massacre back then. I don't think the girl in yellow picked up on that. Somehow, I could be wrong, but I think somehow, some way, Victor saying that triggered something in her to realize Victor was that same boy from before. And maybe she knew already because I'm pretty sure Victor knew the man in yellow. The man in yellow knew Victor then. We know that they had some type of interactions back then. So I'm pretty sure in her mind, if she came in town and met another Victor, she would put two and two together, but we don't know. I don't know. We gonna see. But him telling her that, and then she says, "Well, where is he at now?" And Henry straight up says, "I hope he's burning in hell." Again, Sophia, the girl in yellow, is just playing with her food. She loves. She It's like she thrives off of this. She gets up. She said, "Let's get another drink. Let's find something better to mix with it." There's no mixes in this town. I've never seen anybody in this town drink a juicy juice or a Minute Maid or anything. No mixes in this town. But she goes behind the bar and she sees broken glass. She cuts herself with the broken glass. As Henry is trying to doctor her up, he turns around and the girl in yellow spills some of her blood, well, puts some of her blood into Henry's drink. And it mixes in seamlessly, dissolves clearly into the drink. Couldn't tell anything. Come back, they take drinks, they take their shots. And Henry says, "Oh, that one hit a little different." But seeing that, I instantly went back to Martin. If you know, you know. Because while they're taking these shots, and the girl in yellow asks Henry after they drink, she said, "Hey, let me ask you something. Do you ever think that maybe this place that we can't escape from is all a dream? Have you ever thought about that?" And if you've been watching this show, which I'm sure you have because we're in season 4, you're watching this, I'm sure you're just as committed as we are. If you've been watching this show, two things might have come back to you. For me, one was the Abby situation. When Abby went off the deep end and she started trying to kill everybody, her main thing was, what if it's all a dream and we have to wake these people up? And the only way to wake people up is to kill them. That was Abby's main thing when she went crazy. And that's something we've kind of thought about before. If you remember when Tabitha got pushed out of the lighthouse, we thought, okay, maybe pushing her out of this lighthouse is killing her in Fromville so she wakes up in the real world. Now, we don't think that really is what happened at that point, but they play with that, what if this is all a dream thing, a couple of times, a couple of ways. But the Abby part was the main sequence of what if this was all a dream? Second, Martin. If you remember when Boyd met Martin in the tunnels, well, not the tunnels, in the dungeon that time, Martin told Boyd, what if Abby was right and this is all a dream? Secondly, with Martin, you remember he told Boyd, my blood is your blood, after he cut himself and infected Boyd with his blood. That's how Boyd got those worms and things. We see here Sophia, the girl in yellow, cut herself and sprinkle her blood into Henry's drink. And Henry drinks that. So my blood is your blood. Martin puts his blood into Boyd. We see Sophia put her blood into Henry. I don't think that's a coincidence. If I've learned anything from watching From and these writers, they don't give us too many coincidences. That has to tie into each other somehow. So, was Martin the man in yellow? I know a few people think that he might have been. And after this, I can't say that they're wrong. We don't know for sure yet. But something right there ties into each other somehow. I know that's going to come back again. My worry is that Henry, in the next episodes or two, or however, whenever it happens, I feel like Henry might go off that deep end and start trying to kill people to quote unquote wake them up like Abby did. I hope that's not the case, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's where they go with this. So we're going to see exactly what this scene, because this scene, I feel like out of all the episode, I feel like of important scenes going forward, this scene and the hidden door scene are the two most important things to take with us going forward from this episode. Everything in this episode I feel like is important, but those two things for sure, I think plays a huge factor. And so then we get Fatima and Ellis. And this isn't a huge part of the episode, but I think it's something that's important we touch on because down the line, this might play a big factor. We show Fatima and Ellis in there, and we see the golem. It's finished or almost finished, looking like it's real close to be finished if it's not finished yet. And I'm pretty sure off screen, Fatima tells Ellis about how she's feeling, how she feels connected to the smiley monster and all these things. And Ellis is there like, I feel like I should be doing more. I feel like I can be doing more. And yes, you're right. You can be doing more, Ellis, but that's neither here nor there. But Ellis is like, hey, let me know, explain to me what's going on. And Fatima tells him, she gives him a story about her parents growing up, telling her these things about these magical creatures and all this magical stuff. And even though it's not realistic, allegedly, it gave her something to hold on to. It gave her some type of symbolism, like of hope. Because if you don't have anything to hold on to, you'll lose your mind. And she kind of explains that to him as to why she's making this golem. Again, I think the golem's going to play a factor somewhere down the line. Maybe it just hit me. Maybe when Boyd and Jade opens that door to try to go in that tunnel, maybe somehow that golem comes alive and keeps the people in the colony house safe. I don't know. It just came to me. I'm just shooting things out there. We'll see. But again, this scene wasn't really the most impactful scene of the episode, but let's just touch on it because I feel like this will all come full circle somehow. And then we get Julie and Sarah spending some time together. And I kind of like this part of it. This really did a good job of humanizing both characters. It kind of reels us all back in as an audience, as people in the town also. It helps Julie and Sarah connect a little bit. It humanizes everybody and lets, hey, these are people. And I like this whole little interaction with them. Julie goes to Sarah. She apologizes for kind of like side eyeing her and not believing or not understanding everything she went through and what she was dealing with. And she tells her, I kind of understand that now. And we see Sarah, when Julie first walks up, Sarah's walking into her house with these two paint jugs. And Sarah's like, yeah, I wanted to do something nice for Sophia, help make her feel a little bit at home. A fresh coat of paint always brighten things up. So as Julie's out there apologizing to her, Sarah picks up on Julie needs a little time. So hey, come paint with me. She invites her in to come paint with her. And as they're up there painting, they're discussing things. And Sarah and Julie are talking about things that they forgot about or things they miss from living a regular life. Julie asks Sarah, what's one thing you miss? And Sarah says, I miss eating gummy candy. Like, I miss eating gummy candies. And it's so crazy that something so little, something that we don't think about. Hell, I just had a pack of lifesavers this weekend, the gummy candy. It's something so little to us and to these people that they forgot about, but it's something that they miss. It's something that would normalize everything. And Sarah asks Julie the same question in return. Julie talks about a daddy daughter date going to get donuts and how she wishes she could still do those things with her dad, with Jim, RIP Jim. She wishes she could still do those things with Jim. And Sarah says, hey, earlier you said that you felt like you can understand now. What did you mean by that? And Julie goes ahead and tells her. She doesn't tell her fully about the story walking thing, at least we don't see it yet or in the scenes. But she tells her, like, yes, something in this town made me believe that I can go back and save my dad. Like, I can go back to that day and save him from dying. And Julie looks at Sarah like, I can't do that, right? And I think it was genuine. I think this whole scene with them was genuine. But I think Julie says that I can't do that, right? Kind of hoping that because everybody knows Sarah is extremely tapped in through this town. Everybody in town knows that Sarah has some type of connection with this town. So I think that Julie kind of hopes that Sarah might be like, well, maybe, well, actually. And Sarah just gives her that look like, yeah, no, I'm sorry, you can't. And to be fair, Sarah doesn't know about this story walking stuff. But I think Sarah, in the back of her mind, might somehow think, is it possible? Like Sarah's been through so much in this town and has heard so much, had these voices, seen the faraway trees that I think she doesn't rule anything out. She gives her that look like, no, you can't, but she doesn't really say that. And Sarah hugs her, apologizes to her about losing her father and everything like that. But I really loved this whole interaction with her. Julie. Sometimes she gets on my nerves, but I love this whole interaction with Julie and Sarah. And now we talk about Dom. So I'm pretty sure you noticed with this review, I've done a little something different. I haven't gone beat by beat, scene by scene. I want to touch on the important scenes, kind of put them together how I see fit. But I want to save this Donna information for last. So let's talk about it. Let's get into it because, whew. So, firstly, Donna comes back. She interrupts Boyd and Kenny and Victor when they're talking about the man in yellow's car. She says, "Hey, Boyd, I need you to come with me to the shed." They go down to the shed, and Boyd immediately walks in and sees a dead body. He's like, "Who the fuck is this?" He's like, "Where's Ellis?" She tells him Ellis is okay. That whose body is this? She tells Boyd about Patty, burnt face. She tells Boyd about Roger. This is Roger. They pulled a sheet from off of Roger's body, and I don't know when this happened. We didn't see this happen because I remember in the last episode, after killing Roger, the monsters went on and tried to attack everybody else. So I don't know when or how this happened, but we see Roger's body, and Roger's body is stitched up like a doll. Just how those same dolls look, that's how we see his body. Buttons stitched across his eye, mouth and face stitched up, looking just like one of those dolls. It's crazy. And so, rightfully so, they're freaking out. Donna tells Boyd about what happened, about the totems. Say, hey, I brought these totems back with me. Tabitha killed one of these dolls with the totems. Tabitha's there. She explains what these dolls are. She says specifically, after the man died, his nightmares came out of the lake. We're gonna get back to that in just a second, but that's the same thing. That's the exact same way she said it last episode. So they're discussing all of this. Donna's down there. She tells them about all of this. They go back. They cut to Donna, Boyd, Kenny, all of them having a drink. And here is what's so crazy. Donna's cracks are starting to show also. I talked about Boyd. I talked about the cracks showing for Boyd earlier. I talked about the cracks showing for Victor earlier. Now we're starting to see those cracks show for Donna. Like they're discussing what these dolls are. And Kenny says that people's nightmares come out into the woods. He tells them about when Nathan, Sarah's brother, died. Sarah told him that Nathan was afraid of the cicadas. And she felt like when people died in the town, their nightmares came out in the woods and through the town. So that's starting to make a lot of sense. And when they say that Donna is losing it, Donna's like, what else do we have to deal with? Like, how can we tell these people about not only these smiling monsters that we think we're safe from at night with the rocks? Now we have cicadas and dolls and nightmare creatures coming out of the woods also in the daytime or whenever. Like, how do I talk to these people about this? And Donna's losing it. Donna's like, I don't know. She's like, I need some air. I need to go get some water on my face. Boy's trying to talk to her, say, hey, calm down, sit down. And I was like, no, I need to get out of here. And as soon as she walks out of the room, she collapses and has a heart attack. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like the writers have been playing these games with us all season when it comes to Donna. They foreshadowed all season that Donna might be out of here soon. And I understand we're in season 4. We haven't really, let me think. I can't recall in this season yet so far us losing somebody major yet. And this is no diss to Roger. This is no diss to the priest that came into the town. But we didn't have those relationships with them. And Jim died at the end of last season, so I can't count him into this season. So even though we're kind of just now dealing with it, so yes, maybe. But this season so far, we haven't lost somebody that we're connected with yet. So throughout the whole season, we're getting foreshadowing, we're getting hints that Donna might be that person we lose. Even in the last episode, when they're out by the fire and her and Ethan have this conversation that we'll get to, even that scene in itself had us all believing that Donna was about to be attacked. And they pump faked us something serious at the end of last episode. The doll monster was choking Donna, and Tabitha came last minute and saved her. So some of us thought that we were out the woods with Donna. But she walks out and has this heart attack. And I think the same way I just said that the Sarah and Julie scene helped humanize people, I think this scene was done for that same reason. Donna having a heart attack and us possibly losing Donna to a heart attack helps us remember that these are humans. These people are susceptible to things that humans deal with also. Donna got saved from the monsters just to be on her deathbed from a heart attack. It's not just those things that go bump in the night that can kill these townspeople, man. I think they did an amazing job with this part. If Donna would have got packed up by a monster, we're used to that. It would have hurt us. But her possibly dying from a heart attack after being saved, after getting away from those monsters, is something that's so crazy. So she walks out, she has this heart attack. Boyd is doing these compressions. She said, "Hey, Kenny, go get Christy and Marielle." Kenny runs out, goes to the clinic. They show Patty getting patched up the burns, sick burns on her face, crazy burns on her face. He comes in, he gets Christy and Marielle. They rush back to the Colony House. Tabitha checks Donna's post. There's no post there. Boyd is doing all he can. Boyd is sitting there, you're not going to die on me. You don't die until I say you can die. He's giving these, Boyd, this scene, this acting, Harold Perrineau is doing amazing with Boyd. If he doesn't get some type of Emmy or something from this season, I don't know what else can happen. But he's doing these compressions. They bring the defibrillator up, and I'm shocked that that thing still had battery. But I guess they haven't used it much in the town, and we still see some of these cars running with their batteries. So I was just shocked that that thing still had any charge in it. But they used this defibrillator a few times. They charged it up, clear, hit her, paddle her, nothing. No post. Boyd is still there, just doing these compressions, just going. You can see him losing it. Like, you're not leaving me. No, you're not going anywhere. They keep going. They do it a few times, nothing. After a while, Christy and Marielle stop. They put the paddles up. They're looking at Boyd like she's done. She's gone. And Boyd, to be fair, he does not quit. He does not give up. He's not trying to hear any of that. He's yelling. I'm talking about compression. And eventually Donna lets out a small little gasp and her pulse comes back. Slightly. They say slightly. Her pulse comes back. They say, "Hey, we need the monitor. We don't know how we're gonna hook this up." Boys, I got it. Don't worry about that. So they get Donna in the room. Boyd go gets Jade. They hook the monitor up with wiring to one of the lamps, which is what they did with the radio. So the same wires they used for the radio, they took those wires, hooked that monitor up to one of the lamps to give it some power. They say her vitals looking stable. But even then, Christy looks at Boyd like, Boyd's like, okay, why hasn't she woken up? Chrissy tells Boyd, I don't know if she will. She doesn't say it, but she says it. We don't know how long her brain was without oxygen. And if anybody's ever dealt with anybody who's had strokes, seizures, heart attacks, anything like that, you know, like if their brain is without oxygen for too long, that's not a good sign. That can be hurtful. So Chrissy tells him, we don't know how long she was without oxygen. Her brain was without oxygen. Boyd still's not trying to hear any of that. We see Ethan and Tabitha. Ethan tells Tabitha, basically, I want to say my last goodbyes. Like everybody in this town dies. Ethan, the cracks are showing with Ethan. This episode gave us so much realism in the sense that these people are human, and you're really starting to see everything weighing down on the human part of these people. Even Ethan is starting to get fed up. He is like, everybody in this town dies. I want to say my last goodbyes to her. He comes in, he says his last goodbyes, he promises to be strong. He repeats what Donna told him by the fire, that our fears are the things that make us heroes. I think that line plays a big factor somehow also. Our fears. Remember, we just talked about them saying that people's nightmares, people's fears come to life after they die. So I don't think that line was used pointlessly. I think it plays a big factor. But so Ethan comes, says his last goodbyes. Everybody clears out. Boyd eventually comes back and talks to Donna. Just Donna and Boyd. Donna's on the bed. She's unconscious. She's hooked up to everything. Boyd walks in and says, hey, all right, get the fuck up. Boyd is not hearing it. And if you understand how people handle grief and stuff like that, you understand where Boyd is coming from. This is the strongest person in town to Boyd. In Boyd's eyes, Donna is the strongest person in this whole town. And he kind of touches on that a little bit later. So to Boyd, like, nah, Donna, get the fuck up. Nah, you too strong for this. We ain't doing that. Come on, stop playing. Get up. Let's do this. Let's get back to it. He's sitting there talking to her like, I can't do this without you. I need you here with me to help these people. And as he's sitting there, he's just going through this. And then we get Father Kachu. Hey, I know this is a sad moment, but we love seeing Father Kotri back, man. I had a friend who just started watching From, and he binge watching. He's caught up now. He binged in like a week or so. But I forgot. I didn't realize that Kotri got packed up in season one. Father Kotri, Father Kotri feels like he's been such a constant through this show that I forget he got killed in season one. But Father Kotri is back, and he says, what if she doesn't wake up? And if you remember, Kotri, Ghost Kotri, even when he was alive, he always was that playing that other side to Boyd. Not in a bad way, just like, okay, but what if this doesn't work like this? What if it doesn't happen like this? So he tells Boyd, so what if she doesn't wake up? Then what? And Boyd straight up says, I don't know. Like, Donna not being around is something so improbable to Boyd that he doesn't have a plan for if she's not here. He reminisces about Donna, Father Kotri, and Dale, R.P. Dale, dumbass Dale. But he reminisces about that first night when he first met them, and Donna basically being Donna said, "Do you snore?" And Boyd looking like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And him saying that Donna telling them, "Hey, if you snore, they find us." That triggered in him that he could trust Donna. That triggered in him that Donna was strong, that Donna would know how to survive. And he even goes on to talk about how they didn't see eye to eye for the longest. If you remember, even in the first few episodes of the series, you can tell that they weren't really buddy buddy. You can tell they didn't really see eye to eye. I think it was like the second, third scene of episode one. He goes to the colony house and Donna tells him, "You're not supposed to be up here." So that goes to show you how strongly their bond is, that even coming from not liking each other or Donna liking him, he can't see her go. He even touches on. He says like, I don't know what it was. We butt heads so much, but I knew that I can trust her. I knew she knew how to survive. Like their relationship, they're the two figureheads of this town. If something happens to Donna or if something happens to Boyd, the people in this town are going to lose it. They're the two heads of this town. Donna in the colony house, Boyd in the town people. But if something happens to either one of them, the town is going to lose it. And Boyd understands that. Boyd knows that he can't afford not to have Donna here. Because if Donna goes, it's only a matter of time before everything else goes with it. So this scene here, he's talking to Father Kotri, he's reminiscing, and then you hear Donna wake up and say, Boyd, and oh my God, thank you. From writers, thank you. You pump faked us heavy. You did, but who? We don't have to riot now. No pitchforks, y'all. We don't have to show up to their front doors with signs and pitchforks and flames saying, bring Donna back. Not yet, at least. And I don't think they're going to play these games with us again. They gave us two pump fakes already. They gave us two fake outs. I don't think they're going to. I think Donna's safe now. I don't think they're going to give us another Donna scare. I'm hoping not, at least. But Donna comes back. Boy is ecstatic. You can tell everybody's so excited. Thank you. Thank you. But I mean, overall, my thoughts of this episode. And before I do that, we have a couple of little scenes there that I don't think we need to get too much into. But one thing that stood out to me, it wasn't a major scene, it was a quick little thing. But they showed Randall and Elgin together in the kitchen cooking, helping cook. And Elgin sitting there with his eye missing, Randall sitting there, scar on his face, and Randall even comments and makes a joke about it. That's hilarious. But overall, to me, this episode was a good episode. Again, I feel like it was a lot of setup in this episode. And if anybody who came into this episode, into week 6, wanting major answers, I don't think you got that here. And I can understand you kind of feeling away if you didn't get those answers here. But remember, they gave us a lot of answers in episode 5. I think this episode 6 was a lot of setup that we needed to move the story even further. But I think the main thing with this episode is what I kept saying and I kept noticing, humanizing these people. I think we're 4 seasons in. At some point, we as an audience can kind of start forgetting that these are people. They're just everyday people that just have to deal with this, that happen to get trapped in this town. And I know I'm guilty with it too. Sometimes I look at these people like, how can you be so stupid? What are y'all doing? Talk to each other. Why would you do this? These are just humans that are dealing with this. So I think this episode does that extremely well. I think this episode humanizes the whole town extremely well. I think that if you came in here thinking that we were going to be nonstop action like we were in episode 5, it might be a lower rated episode for you. But for me, I give this, I'll say 6.57 out of 10. It could have been a little bit better, yes. It could have gave us a little bit more, yes. But I think what it did give us was what was needed. We had to level set after the last episode. After 2 weeks ago, when we almost lost Jade, or we thought we almost lost Jade, we lost Roger, even though, we lost Roger. Patty had her face messed up and burnt up. We almost lost. I think we had to level set again. And we had a lot here. We had a lot of character development. Every so often, you need those character development episodes. We saw Boyd breaking down. We saw Victor breaking down. We saw Donna breaking down. We saw, to a lesser extent, Ethan breaking down. We saw Julie and Sarah bonding. I think every so often you need these character development episodes. We even saw Fatima and Ellis bonding. So I think that 7 out of 10 is a good rating for this episode. We have a lot still. We have the man in Yellow Mystery. his car. What did he do to Henry? What was that blood thing ritual he did to Henry? Like, what's coming up with that? Are they going to go out to find that car? Is there going to be something in that car that's going to help us out? We still have Acosta down there trying to find everything. And she even had scenes in this episode. We didn't talk about her much, but she even had scenes in this episode where she admitted that boy's keeping me busy so I don't off myself. And it's working as of now. We still have her searching through things. I feel like that's going to reward us. I think that so much is coming that we have to get prepared for. We have the basement door. What are they going to do with that? What's that plan going to be? How are they going to attack this tunnel situation? And after they get these bones, if they get these bones from the kids, what's going to happen? We have the golem still unanswered. Yes. So we have a lot that this story helped slightly move forward. But when I tell you we only have 4 more episodes left in this season, I think there's a lot to come. I think we have to hold in there and see it through, man. I like this episode. Y'all tell me what y'all think. What's going on? Like, do you think that Henry's going to snap and try to kill everybody like Abby did? Is it just a coincidence that the man in yellow, Sophia in yellow, girl in yellow, whatever you want to call her, is it just a coincidence that the girl in yellow, Sophia, had the same type of conversation with Henry that Martin had with Boyd in the dungeon that time? Like, is it coincidence? My blood is your blood. He gives Boyd his blood, and we see the girl in yellow sprinkle her blood into Henry's drink. Is it coincidence that they're talking about the dreams again? This, y'all let me know what y'all think. I know what I think. I know how I'm feeling, but I'm interested in seeing what everybody else is saying. Also, let me know what y'all thought, how y'all felt about this new format. Do you like this, me touching on kind of the important parts in the episode? Do you like the previous formats of me going scene by scene and touching on it, how it shows to us? Let me know. Like, comment, subscribe. Give me your thoughts. Give me y'all feedback. We back. From writers, don't do that again. Don't leave us hanging a week again. It's your boy Stoise. It's Euphoric Trip. I'll see y'all in the next episode.